The scream that pierced the crisp autumn air on Oakwood Lane wasn't just a cry of pain, it was the sound of a world crumbling. Brick by fragile brick. I should know, I orchestrated every shattering moment. My name is Emily Carter. And this is the story of how I unraveled the lives of the two people who meant everything to me, turning their whispers of deceit into echoes of despair. But let's start right there. In that pivotal instant at 8:47 a.m., when my meticulously crafted vengeance finally detonated, Sarah Langley stood in her sleek, modern kitchen, still in her designer silk robe, clutching a nondescript package that had arrived at her doorstep like an uninvited ghost. No return address. Just as I'd intended. Her elegant fingers, always so steady from years of sketching fashion lines, shook slightly as she peeled back the wrapping. She probably thought it was a sample from a client or a forgotten online order. But when the contents spilled out, she recoiled as if burned, the box clattering to her polished hardwood floor. The scream that erupted from her wasn't human, it was primal. A guttural wail that clawed at the soul, starting as a choked gasp and swelling into something that rattled windows and chilled spines. From my SUV parked discreetly across the street, hidden behind tinted windows and a baseball cap, I watched the pandemonium unfold. Neighbors emerged like startled deer. Mr. Thompson from his garage, tools in hand, the young mom from down the block, toddler on her hip, even elderly Mrs. Ramirez, who rarely stirred before her morning tea, shuffled out in her faded housecoat. "What's happening? Sarah? Are you okay?" Voices overlapped in a chorus of concern. But Sarah couldn't form words. She staggered back, collapsing against her front door, pointing wildly inside as sobs racked her body. Her flawless auburn hair, usually tied in a chic ponytail, hung in disarray. Her robe slipped off one shoulder, exposing vulnerability she'd hidden so well. Mrs. Thompson was the first to peer inside, her face blanching at the sight scattered across the floor. She backed away, fumbling for her phone. "Call 911, she hissed to the gathering crowd. "This looks bad, real bad. Maybe she needs medical help." The scream lingered in the air for what felt like an eternity, though my watch said only 3 minutes. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder, as Sarah slumped onto her porch steps, hyperventilating between cries. She looked nothing like the poised fashion designer who'd been weaving her way into my husband's life for the past 8 months, confident, alluring, untouchable. If those neighbors only knew the truth. Sarah wasn't just any rising star in the fashion world, she was my college roommate. The one who'd held my hand through my mother's cancer battle, who'd stood as my maid of honor at my wedding, vowing eternal loyalty. The same Sarah who'd been slipping into upscale bistros with my husband, James Harrington, while I pulled overtime shifts at my PR firm to cover what I thought were his networking expenses. The same Sarah who'd been flaunting accessories I'd helped her select, lounging in the loft I'd scouted for her, all while dismantling my marriage thread by thread. As paramedics swarmed her porch, wrapping her in a blanket and murmuring reassurances, I turned the key in my ignition. Phase 1 complete. But this was merely the opening act in a drama of betrayal and retribution. To grasp why Sarah's scream haunted Oakwood Lane that day, you need the full unraveling, the seemingly idyllic marriage that hid rot at its core, the friendship poisoned by lies, and the night I uncovered how the people closest to me had been conspiring in the shadows. Let's rewind 3 months, to when the first crack appeared in my so-called perfect life. It was a chilly October afternoon when the text buzzed through, lighting up my phone amid a stack of press releases at Carter Communications. Guess who's back in town? Dying to reconnect with my favorite duo. EXO. Sarah. My heart leaped. Sarah Langley. My inseparable college buddy. The one who'd chased her fashion dreams to New York 8 years ago. We hadn't shared a room since James's big promotion bash 2 years back, but our texts and video chats kept the bond alive. I dialed James at his accounting firm right away. "You'll never believe it, Sarah's moving back. We should host a welcome bash. Maybe at that French bistro she adores." There was a beat of silence on his end. Longer than usual. "That's great. Really? But I'm swamped here, can we chat later?" I shrugged it off. James had always been the steady type. More numbers than flair. Less enthused about social whirlwinds. That night, as he walked through our cozy colonial on Oakwood Lane, the dream home we'd built over 12 years of marriage, I bombarded him with ideas. I'd spent hours browsing lofts for Sarah, mapping out dinners, even sketching a weekend getaway. "She's eyeing spots in the city center," I gushed while he shrugged off his suit jacket. "I found 3 gems in her budget. And a low-key party, just us and a few friends?" He nodded absently, eyes flicking to his phone. "When I floated a brunch invite for her that Sunday." He mumbled about deadlines. "You've been logging a lot of overtime lately," I noted lightly, masking the twinge in my chest. "Big audit season. You know the drill." I didn't know, or thought I did. James's ambition had fueled our comfortable life, the manicured lawn, the vacations we'd once dreamed of. I'd grown used to his late hours, weekend spreadsheets, the client dinners that multiplied. But something felt off now. A subtle shift. Conversations dwindled to logistics, date nights evaporated. When I broached our anniversary trip, he waved it away, too buried right now. 2 weeks later, Sarah settled into a trendy urban loft. I helped unpack, giggling over dusty college mementos like old times. "Look at this," she said, waving a photo from our engagement party, James's arm around me, Sarah beaming beside us. We were babies. In the shot, James regarded her with neutral warmth. "Nothing more. 12 years since the wedding," she mused. "You two still glow like newlyweds." "We do," I echoed, though doubt flickered. That night, brushing teeth side by side in our master bath, I ventured, "Are we okay, James? You've seemed distant." He paused mid-rinse. "Just work stress. Let's not dive into this now, early meeting tomorrow." He rolled away in bed, leaving me staring at the ceiling, wondering when intimacy had turned routine. If I'd tuned into the signs then, the way James's jaw tightened at Sarah's name, the surge in his overtime post her return, how he mysteriously knew her preferred neighborhoods, I might have acted sooner. But trust blinded me, that 12-year foundation seeming unbreakable. Until the Tuesday that shattered it all. I was prepping James's go-to meal, roast chicken with veggies, while he texted about another late night. Calls to him went to voicemail. Frustrated, I packed it up for a surprise office drop-off, hoping for a stolen moment. His firm's tower loomed dark, save a few lit windows. Up on the 8th floor, his desk sat empty, computer dormant, coat gone. "Mr. Harrington? Left at 5. Like clockwork," the janitor said. Haven't seen him burn midnight oil in ages. My stomach plummeted. If not work, then where? Trembling, I fired up the location app we'd shared for emergencies. His dot glided through downtown, far from the office. I tailed it mechanically. Mind-spinning excuses, client errand, surprise gift hunt. It halted at Le Petit Paris, the ritzy spot we'd splurged on for our 5th anniversary, too lavish for business. Parking opposite, I watched through the glow of street lamps. Then he emerged, arm-linked with a woman in a sleek black dress, auburn hair cascading. They laughed intimately, pausing by his car for a kiss that screamed passion, not platonic. When she turned, the light hit her face. Sarah. My Sarah. The confidant I'd vented marriage woes to. The one I'd celebrated milestones with. James's hand grazed her back possessively as he ushered her in. They drove off. Likely to her loft, the one I'd vetted. I sat frozen for 20 minutes. World tilting. This wasn't a fling with a stranger, it was a dagger from both sides. How long? Since her move? Before? Were they mocking my naivety over wine? Texts pinged, James's stuck late. Love you. Sarah's, hope you and James are cozy. Lunch tomorrow? Miss ya. The irony burned. Driving home. Memories reframed, James's feigned enthusiasm for her return. Sarah's probing questions about our issues. She'd had insider intel from him. I trashed the chicken. Drowned in wine. When James slunk in at 11:30, reeking of her signature jasmine scent, I played normal. Tough day. Exhausting, he lied, pecking my forehead. But as he showered away the evidence, something in me snapped. The trusting Emily died. A strategist emerged. Morning brought icy clarity. While James hummed in the shower, I brewed coffee, feigning wifely bliss. But internally, I catalogued every red flag. Late again tonight, he said, adjusting his collar. Of course, I smiled. Lunch with Sarah, should I pass on hellos? His grip tightened on his briefcase. Just a flicker. Once he left, I cleared my schedule and dove in. Finances first, James managed them, citing his expertise. Now, scrutinizing statements. Rage built. 7 charges at Le Petit Paris. Each for 2. A $800 boutique bill matching Sarah's new bracelet from an admirer, hotel stays during office nights, worst. Recurring $500 transfers to Urban Lofts Management, her building's firm. He'd bankrolled her life with our money. Surrounded by printouts. Humiliation seethed. How blind. My phone buzzed. Sarah's, excited for lunch. Got juicy deets on this guy I'm seeing, complicated. But wow. Audacity personified. At the cafe. She radiated. In a blouse screaming luxury. You look amazing, I said. Biting back bile. New romance glow, she winked. Leaning in, think I'm in love. He's older. Established. Treats me like royalty. She fiddled with the bracelet, my money. But he's married. I squeezed her hand, masking fury. Complicated. Huh? She spilled. His marriage is dead, roommates. Really? He's leaving soon. Even covers my rent to take care of me. Each word painted me as the frigid obstacle. She sought advice on guilt. Describing their escapes. Plans. Am I awful? Love's messy, I lied. That evening, I staked out her building. James arrived with roses and champagne. Using a key. As bedroom lights dimmed, my plan crystallized. They'd pay. Sleepless. I mapped it out over cold coffee. But I needed an ally, and fate delivered Mrs. Ramirez. Weeping on her stoop. My nephew's wife ran off with his partner, 25 years. Poof. Her pain mirrored mine. Sometimes. Justice needs a nudge, I confided. My husband's cheating. With my best friend. She patted my hand. What do you need? Dear. Over tea. I unloaded. She listened. Then grinned. Let's make them regret it. My strategy exploited their flaws. Sarah feared isolation and surveillance. Rooted in a high school harassment scare. James craved control and image. Public shame terrified him. I'd amplify these, letting them implode each other. Documentation began. Photos of James's exits. Sent logs. Lie journals. At home, I turned affectionate. Cooking favorites. Planning vow renewals. Guilt gnawed him. Flowers piled up. For Sarah. Subtle sabotage. anonymous hang-ups. Mrs. Ramirez's disguised calls to her studio about the designer dating married execs. Weird call at work. Sarah fretted over coffee. Looking frayed. Prank. Maybe? I sympathized. Escalation, Mrs. Ramirez's nephew shadowed discreetly, accidentally bumping her. You're the one with James Harrington, right? Paranoia spiked. James felt the squeeze. My innocent queries about work. Surprise visit suggestions. Sarah's clinginess mounted. Calls demanding time. Eavesdropping on their frantic call. Someone knows, she panicked. You're overreacting, he snapped. Doubt creeping. Cracks widened. The climax, confronting James that Monday eve. Laptop open with evidence. I know. He blanched. I save it. I detailed the package Sarah would receive, forged texts of him bashing her neediness. Fake nudes he'd shared, a positive pregnancy test, her terror, paired with his vasectomy records, proving he'd never commit. Lies. But in her state. Believable. You'll lose it all, I said. Handing divorce papers. House. Assets. Rep, he begged. I banished him to a hotel. Next morning. Her scream validated it all. Paramedics carted her off, psych hold after a self-harm attempt. Police probed the stalking. James crumbled. You broke us. No, you did. 6 months on, divorced. James jobless from scandal. Sarah fled to New York. Silent. I thrived with my firm. House mine. Revenge? Bitter medicine. But it healed the wound they inflicted. On Oakwood Lane. That scream wasn't madness, it was reckoning. Delivered one calculated blow at a time.